So I actually went to the scrapyard to get rid of a load of aluminium and some batteries and stuff, and I came back with that because it was sitting there and I couldn't turn it down for the price they wanted. It's quite nice. The main issue, apparently the reason it got scrapped was the deck's got some holes in it. Kind of makes sense, I guess. I've been assured that it runs. They showed me a video of it running, but the battery was dead, and it did turn over, but it was too dead to start it. The deck has come unclipped where they picked it up, and the deck attachment, which is like a hook thing, has come out. So I put a strap on it just to hold it still, so I can push it about. It's got a flat tyre that side. So yeah, let's have a look at it and see if we can get it going and working, and see if it does things. Apparently it's got brand new blades in it. The guy, apparently it was an older chap, owned it, possibly from new, I reckon, and I'll show you why. Apparently he had new blades put on it and all sorts, and then the side of the deck came off, and he was like, I'll just get rid of it and get a new one. So apparently it's got new blades under there. I've not looked. It came with, shockingly, I'm going to try and straighten this out, the original like leaflet that came with these, or advertising Wheelhorse machines. What a lovely thing. Has it got a date on it? 1988. It's pretty old. I'm going to try and straighten that out and keep it. It's a shame it got all crooked. There's also, I don't know what I've done with them, but there was also a bag of spare belts with it. The scrapyard kept it all and knew they were going to end up flogging it. So yeah, let's have a look. I'll put some air in that tyre first so I can move it easier. It's not gone down much more since I've had it, so it can't be that bad a leak. And then I'll work out how to get the deck back on, so I can take the strap off. And then yeah, we'll go from there. I think this adjusts the deck, and I think it's the thing that attaches to that's come off. It's like I'll try and show you. This bit of metal here on this bar, there's a pin sticking out here that's meant to be in there. So yeah, so this handle here does adjust that, the bit with the hole in it, but the deck's actually sat on it at the moment. But I know if I take the strap off, it's just going to collapse. So I think what I need to do is lift the back of the mower up and just tuck that hook back in. So I need to get this bit, which I think turns, yeah, into this bit. But you can see it's not going to line up, so I'm going to move the deck forward, drop this handle down, just slackened off the cable that adjusts this, but now it's sat on my jack, so I need to move the jack. If the front goes down, it should pivot slightly, then I better click the back into that. I'll try that. What I'm trying now to get the deck on is, this is the operating arm from the handle. All I've done is disconnect it from there. Had a washer and a split pin in it, which allows you to, sorry I keep hitting the deck, allows you to move the mechanism further than it would normally go. But it's got to go between this pin and this pin in there. So what I've done is I've raised up the back on the jack again, which means that I can get that lined up slightly. I'm going to slowly lower it down and hopefully re-engage this. Let's see if that works. So that looks right now. I just need to re-engage this with that, and that should lift the deck up again. I hold that in there. Yep, it's going to lift the deck. Put the pins back. seems to work now. So if I pull this, that'll raises and lowers the deck using this cable operated assembly. Quite clever. Put that there, and then around here. Should have a hovering deck. Hear that noise? There it is. Have a listen. As soon as I put air in it, weirdly the valve's around here. The hole was facing me, and yeah, it's got a nail hole in it. So I will repair that. I literally just had to do this job on my real mower. I'll do a puncture repair, so I'll do it on this one. It's not too hard. It's just a bit of a knob ache. There we go, I got it off. The bead came apart a bit. This tyre is a bit knackered. Hoping that will still seal. I'm going to shove a load of bead sealer on it. It's knackered here too, so hopefully it will still seal on this surface. I'll glue this up before we make any attempts to put this back together. And I'm not going to fight the tyre all the way off. I'm going to do the tyre repair here. So I did mark. There we go. Put that at the bottom. Doesn't appear to be anything stuck in it, so I'm going to jabby thing and I'll jab it through so I know where I'm working, and I'll clean this up and we'll do that. So what I'll do now is I'll buff that area up with this. This will do. And that makes a nice clean area for the patch to seal on. Good enough. Little clean area. This is totally overkill for a lawn tractor tyre, but this is all I got really. It's car repair ones, so you put a bit of, drill out the hole with one of them. Put some vulcanising cement on the inside, squirge it around the hole, and then you use this, you poke that through the hole from the inside, you take this blue off, it leaves like a gum, you poke that through, you yank it right through, and then you push it down, and you've sealed up your tyre. So stick some of that on, you put that on, let it dry first, so I'll do that. There we go, and then you just chop the stem off, and we repaired that. I'll stick this back on. I've got some bead sealer that I'll goo around the damaged areas just before I re-inflate that. Flat again, and now we can see why. So many bead leaks. Look at this one. It's got washing up liquid and water on it, and yeah, the thread's fine, but the beads are both horrible, so I'll take it off again and put more bead sealer on. Take that off. Lots of washers? Oh, it's lots of washers. I've never taken one of these off, so I don't know if I assume it just slides it. Oh yeah. Look at the amount of bead leaks we've got. So I think we're gonna have to go the whole hog here. I think we're gonna have to take the tyre off again. Clean up the rim with an angle grinder. Clean any goo off of the tyre and then bead seal the whole thing and have another go. If not, it's gonna be a new tyre, but it's gonna be really annoying because I don't wanna spend any money on it. While we're here though, we can see the brake. A little tiny brake in there. So we can see that this is the brake mechanism. And I'm going to say that I don't think it's doing anything. So when I press the brake pedal, something happens. Can I turn this? Okay, I can turn that by hand. Push the brake pedal down. Oh, it does actually work. So I think it needs adjusting because when it locks, the pedal's completely on the floor. I think it probably needs some adjustment. That's not the end of the world. It might just need an adjustment here. Looks like it's never been adjusted actually. We'll give that a little adjust before we put the wheel back on. And so I had to remove the tyre and wire brush the bead of the wheel, and then I wire brushed the tyre as well because it was covered in old sealant and new sealant. And I've bead sealed, you can see it, both sides, all the way around. And I even, as I was going, I was blowing the dust off the bead before I put the sealant on, so there was nothing trapped in there. I think that was part of the problem. So we'll see. It's got some air in it. I'm going to see if it's still inflated tomorrow morning before I put it back on. Well, the tyre's held air, so I'm going to stick it back on. Before I do, I'm just going to try tightening this brake up. Which I think, like this. So I've adjusted the nut in slightly, just put a bit more tension on the brake, but it's still free to move. And I've tightened the nut up slightly on the rod there from the brake pedal so that it doesn't hit the metalwork there. Put the wheel back on. I'm going to try and straighten this out a bit because at the moment the gear doesn't change properly because it's the pivot, once you go past that point, then starts to hit stuff. And I'm just going to try and bend this one back out and this back in. I mean, God knows what happened there. I reckon when it got scrapped, I reckon someone's put a hook in there. Bash that back down, try and pull this out. the handbrake seems to work. So you put the brake down. Forwards, holds the brake. Clutch. Let's try and start it. I left it in run, I don't think that does anything. Lights off, choke on, throttle off, neutral, deck up. So next I'm going to see if the charging circuit works. So I'll check the voltage on the battery, we'll start it, we'll see if the voltage goes up. And also the lights don't work. You know, I think they're powered off a lighting circuit in the charging alternator thing. So it might just be the switch. So we'll see if the charging circuit works, we'll see if we're getting a voltage out of the lighting circuit, which I think will be AC, not DC. And then we'll see if the switch is any good. So I'll start with the battery, which is going to be easier to check because the fuel tank's not held in, so we can get to the battery nice and easily. And obviously the battery's not held in, so we'll try and sort some of those things out, because at the moment the battery's rubbing on the steering, so it at least needs a strap or something. So I'm going to have a look at those things. 12.7 volts. So start it up and see if that goes up. It seems to be charging, and the top wire off of the light switch, which is green and black, which does appear to be down here, coming out the alternator, had about 5 volts AC on it, which I think is right. So all I'll do is I'll just check that is the right wire. Yep. Which means that the other wire from the back of the switch should come down to here somewhere. So I'll check the continuity of that now, and then it could just be blown bulbs. Who knows? Yep, we've got continuity there. And the other thing is, does the switch work? It seems to work, although my meter is buggered. The bulbs are blown. Must be original. They're made in the USA. Auto tractor. And these are new ones. I think you can get LED ones. They might be cheap enough. I'll have a look. still not sure on this lighting circuit. So what I've got is just a normal 12-volt car headlight bulb rigged up. I'm going to give it another go, see if that lights up at all. If it does, at least I know it's working. It does what it's supposed to, but that is the problem with running the lighting circuits, is they rely on the revs. I might change it. I might wire that switch to the battery, but I might not. I don't know. That looks okay. There we go. I've made a battery clamp out of this steel that's used in like roofing ties in buildings. Just it's got holes in it, so some of them kind of married up with the holes in the chassis. It'll do. And I've got a bit of sort of 6mm threaded rod and some wing nuts. Cable tied this wire up because it was rubbing the steering column there, but it hadn't rubbed through the wires. And I'm just going to use some big cable ties through these that the tank sits on. There's like tank straps. There was a spring, and where is it? Like a spring and some string. I think that might actually be the original tank hold down. I think maybe it tied onto these little holes, but I don't know. It's pretty crap. This doesn't close very well. It looks like it should do. So something's out of alignment. Now I've just had a little look and noticed that the holes here are elongated. So if I undo those and shift this whole thing forwards, which is tilted, but that will move the entire bonnet forwards, I think it'll fit. So I'm just going to loosen these, slide it slightly, see if that fixes it. That's a much better fit. What I did was I moved that ever so slightly. It didn't really go far enough. And then when that was folded up, I actually just leant on. I'll show you. I leant on it that way, force it down, and just reshape the whole thing slightly. There we go. Check this Mankey fuel out. Pretty sure this is the carb drain. Sorry. There we go. We can also see the main jets in there, so it might be worth just trying to unscrew that and have a little clean. It does look very clean in there though. And I'm assuming it's the main jet. It's pretty big. But it's totally clear, look. So it's not that. don't think these have an idle adjustment either, as far as I'm aware. Another jet in there? No. Well, there probably is, but I think it's inside. So we've got an idle stop, adjust the idle speed, and I read that the idle screw, if it exists, would be under here, and it's not. So my understanding is from Tinternet, that makes this a newer version of the carb. So either this is the newer machine or it's had a new carb at some point, which it might have done because it does look pretty clean. So I think we'll see what some new fuel does. Popped a new copy Briggs & Stratton fuel filter in. They're really cheap if you buy the copy ones, and they are just a bit of mesh, like steel mesh inside. The valve worked. I tried that when the fuel was draining out. Just rinsed that carb out, but it looked okay in there. And the other thing to mention while I'm here is these are split, and I would like to put new ones on, make that look nice and make it work a bit better, but they're 80mm long, and I can't find 80mm ones. I think they're custom, and I did some Googling on like some Wheelhorse forums, and it seems I'm not the only person that struggled to get them. They're made by a company called Camlock, but I can't really find these, so the only other option is buy. They're cheap enough to buy new ones, but they're longer, so I either rivet new fixings on, or I don't know, keep hunting. I think I'll keep hunting at the moment. Now let's see if it runs any better with new fuel. I have new headlight bulbs. These are the old ones, which are blown, and these are the new ones. They're internet special LED ones, and it says they work on, said on the advert, there we go, 12 to 24 volts AC DC, so hopefully it will put up with the awful output of the charging circuit and whatnot. I've rigged one up here, and we shall, I don't even know why that one's on, wrong one. I bought warm white flood bulbs, no idea if that was right, and I think that's quite good. Quite happy with that as a glow. So pop them in. They're in. These things are horrible. I had to twist them round, bend them down, and then twist them back so they'd grip the bulb. And honestly, I thought they were going to break. I did break one. Not too bad. I also run an extra earth wire, because this was earthed to this bolt, which goes to this tin work, which is just through a hinge. It's pretty terrible. So I've run another wire, and I just went to the nearest bolt, which is on this engine cover. I figured that's okay. That's inlet manifold, not exhaust, so it shouldn't do anything. And I moved this little clip, which was around here. So I moved it here, so that looks good. I'm not going to try it now because it's a lovely summer's evening. And no one needs to hear this piece of quality machinery running because it sounds awful. So I'll do it tomorrow. Got water on my sink. Where's that come from? I'm not sure I want to think about it. Right. Tomorrow morning. Let's try these headlights. They were flickering terribly. They do not like the output from that charging circuit. However, there's such low power compared to the old ones. I'm thinking, let's just reconnect that switch to the battery. I'm pretty sure the charging circuit can cope with some lights and be fine. So let's do that. So I've made this with some slightly overheated heat shrink on the end and a crimp and a proper insulated crimp this end. And the reason I used heat shrink this end is I identified that the spare pin down here, blurry, sorry. The spare pin down here with no wire in the back is actually a switched positive from the battery. So I'm going to push this through the connector onto the pin. Insulated end will replace the top wire, I think it is, with the green on it on the switch, and I'll just heat shrink over the connector because obviously that is an output from the generator, so I don't want that shorting out. Here we go then. So it's about 10:30 at night. I'm going to wait till it's dark. I thought I'd come out and try my new headlights. So that you have to turn the ignition on for. Ooh, right, turn this torch off. There you go. That's actually very good. You do have a very warm white glow. And if we turn the ignition off, I'm pretty happy with that. Nice. Well, I've been for a few months now, not really done much with it apart from the work you've seen me do. Just sat around for a bit. Should we see if she starts? And we'll go for a little drive. that's as good as it's going to get. I did try and use the deck, but I think the belts are slipping, and I'm never going to use the deck. I'm either going to keep it as a tractor or sell it, so I won't bother fixing that, to be honest. I think it probably just needs some tension adjusting. Everything is possibly just slipping a little bit, or maybe the clutch mechanism is slipping to the deck. So I've actually finished filming this video, really. I'll come back to sort this out, so I'll splice this bit in. The clutch mechanism for the deck is here, and it's not really working properly. Let's come around this side. Sometimes the deck engages, sometimes it doesn't. You pull this lever, what that does is push that sort of cone thing up. But I grab hold of it, it turns on its, I can't really do it, but it's basically not engaging with the engine part of it properly. So I think what you do is adjust this pivot bolt, which has got a lock nut to adjust that being the pivot point. Should push up harder if I do that up, so I'm going to try that. Yeah, that did make some adjustment. It worked a little bit better. I think I need to adjust a bit more. I may or may not do that. It depends if I decide I'm going to keep it. But yeah, so that seems to be the adjustment. There's also that adjustment spring up there that might be a bit like the brakes. It might need a bit more tension putting on the spring to apply more force through this arm, which was the same with the brakes. I had to add that bit more tension to the spring for it to work effectively. I guess the springs have relaxed over the years. So yeah, I might do that. I might not. Yeah, works. It's got lights now, and it starts and runs. It does sound a little bit rough, doesn't it? It's not quite perfect, but having had the carb, the carb is non-adjustable, and I think it might be a replacement. I don't know if it's genuine. So if it's a Chinese one, and that might be why it's a little bit rough. I have found the Chinese ones do tend to run slightly off. So yeah, that's what I've done to it. It wasn't really a will it start video. I kind of knew it would start. They showed me a video of it running in the scrapyard. But yeah, that's my little Wheelhorse tractor. I will decide what to do with it, and yeah, I would like a little diesel tractor. That'd be nice. And to be honest, some of the little 2-cylinder diesel tractors aren't much bigger than this anyway, and they'd be much more useful. Belt drive's not great. Drop my phone. Belt drive's not always that great, but we'll see. I'll give it for a bit. I've got a little matching trailer to go with it now. Look, I got a matching trailer. I say matching, just looks right. Pretty cool. It tips. It's very solid, so I can move like rubble in it. Got a flat tyre, they always have. Yeah, I like it. Nice. That's nice. Oh yeah, well anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget, like the video and subscribe to the channel, see what else I get up to. See you next one.